Welcome back to another episode of Caps Off by the Game Day. We're doing things a little bit differently
That looks
this
a little
time.
odd today, doesn't
Something
it?
about this
Slightly
set is different. What is it?
I don't
right.
know.
We're in Arizona,
Arizona.
right
In the
now.
desert.
Here
Nice
for
mountains
That's it, just
around
the
here.
Arizona part.
Super
Nothing
Bowl
special's
media
happening
week.
here,
Yeah,
right?
nothing else is happening.
Yeah, yeah.
We're
Contrary
here for
to-
Super Bowl media week.
Contrary to popular belief, there's a lot of media here. They are here for us.
Yeah, we're
not for the Super Bowl.
We're here at Radio Row. It's amazing that all these people came out for us. It's
Yeah.
crazy.
It's pretty
Dude, all
crazy.
I'm
I mean, I
saying-
came from Mahomes. They came for us.
For
All
Caps
I'm saying,
Off.
we're in the
how it
same
works.
breath as we saw Mike Vick walk by. Saw
That's
Amon
true.
Ross St.
That's
Brown.
true.
Yeah, that's
I've seen it. I'm like, we're basically the same as Mike Vick. We should be on the
Yeah.
cover of Madden 07.
That's
or no,
true.
was it 05?
One of those.
05?
This is
one of them.
Whatever it was.
04.
04. That was a
Come
hell
on,
of a
yeah,
Madden,
that was 04.
bro.
Wow.
That's a
Oh my
classic. The
God.
best video game
He was
character of all
OP.
time. OP, overpowered.
Yeah.
Like
That's
that?
some real gamer talk
They're
right
not
there.
You think Mike
Real.
walked by and was like, "Oh, those are the Caps Off
Yeah,
guys"?
bro, he did.
Well,
I heard.
Well, last
Probably.
night we were at the
That's
NFL
true.
Media Night.
That is true.
With all the players from the Super Bowl, from the Chiefs and the
Sick
Eagles.
experience.
And as the Chiefs were coming out, Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes looked at each other and
They were like-
straight up, you can look on our
Well-
Instagram, TikTok, whatever.
You know,
He looked down at us and he was like, look at those guys. Those guys are handsome.
They
no,
love it.
That's exactly not it. They're looking at this kid, Felipe, dancing for some reason because he's so excited. He sees his
was jumping
idol,
up and
Patrick
down,
Mahomes.
bro. Like, Patty!
I swear to God, I would have thought you were a 5-year-old kid from Kansas City.
Well, he did. He
Like,
does look
what
like a
is going
5-year-old
on
kid
with
from
this kid?
Kansas City.
Trey's gonna come
Trey-
on soon. He did
Trey
call me
called
a
you a-
13-year-old kid. Look, bro, if I could have grown out the beard a little bit more, whatever.
You look great.
For a 13-year-old, you're a handsome man.
Hey, I appreciate that. But
Yeah.
look, dude,
Yeah.
when you see your GOAT in front of your eyes, it's different. It's
is.
different. I saw Patrick Mahomes, the greatest player of all time, right in front of me.
Bro,
right in
we
front
also-
of me.
we also
I was
saw-
fangirling a bit.
We also
Like,
saw
what are you
number 2
gonna do?
greatest
Like,
ever.
Isaiah
number two,
Pacheco.
Isaiah
We did
see Isaiah Pacheco.
And we got some
Greatest
good
football.
conversations with these guys,
Yes,
too.
we did.
So this is another recaps episode,
It
basically,
is.
because we're going to go through and talk about all of the. We'll do roses and thorns without the thorns.
You know,
Peak and pit.
You know what
of
this
our
is? This is
experience
really
at Super Bowl Media Night.
this
What's
is
up?
really just like us really not subtly flexing at all.
No.
Like
No,
very
no,
much
not
out
at all.
there
Dude,
flexing.
this is
Like this
fucking
is
awesome.
No.
like I'm just thinking the whole time seeing all these people at like Radio Row at Media Day yesterday. I'm like, we're like how the fuck are we here with these people? This
Well,
is
they
like,
trusted a bunch of
insane.
crazy guys just to throw some
Trust-
cameras and a mic on. And
Trust is a stretch.
Our parents have
but-
got to be bribing the game day or something. I don't know.
So what's going on behind closed
So-
doors?
I
I'm
don't
curious
know.
because you had some memories from yesterday. Though, what was your favorite memory, or your peak, or your rose, or whatever you want to call it from Media
Oh.
Night?
I don't know. See, like, it was really cool to see all, like, the big name guys, right? But, like, I loved, so the way that it's set up, for people that don't know, is there's, I think there's 12 booths that are around in a
I
circle.
think it was 10, but we'll
10,
give
12.
it 10. Yeah.
I think it was
Something like
12,
that. I don't
whatever
know.
number it was.
10, 12.
But those are, like, the biggest players. You got your,
Shut up.
you got your Mahomes, your Jalen Hurts, your Kelce's, all that. But the rest of it, there's just the rest of the team is just kind of walking around, mingling with everybody. My favorite part was just talking to random people. Like I talked to the Chiefs punter, Tommy Townsend. I talked to Gardner Minshew, who was really cool. You talked to him as
Yeah,
well.
that was really cool.
Like
Yeah,
I
Minshew
actually,
was sick.
I really like talking to Ian Book, who's the third-string quarterback, Notre Dame legend, by the way. Shout out. Talked to him. I think my favorite though is Trayvon Walker because like he played at Georgia. You know, his national
He was
champion
there?
last year. Yeah, he
Yeah.
was there. I talked to him
He
for
was
like
walking
5
around.
minutes.
That
Yeah.
ass.
Wait, what?
I literally talked to him. No, not Trayvon Walker. I'm sorry. I didn't mean Trayvon
I
Walker.
was about to say the
I
Jags
meant-
won the
like,
Super
bro,
Bowl.
I meant
tripping
Nakobe
heavy.
Dean. I meant
The
Nakobe
Kobe
Dean.
Trayvon
Oh,
Walker.
sorry.
I was
God,
confused
that
as hell
is
because
a
I was with him the
different-
whole time. And I'm
I'm
like,
stupid.
I must have been
No,
tripping.
no,
like,
no.
talk-
That's a Jaguar.
we
That's
did
a
talk to
Jaguar.
Nakobe Dean
But
at the
Nakobe
draft.
Dean was dope. He was super cool.
Nah,
Talking about
Nakobe was
like,
cool.
yeah, he was just a chiller. No, I was like, yo, I was thinking to him like Trayvon Walker for sure wasn't there. What am I?
I will
That
say
would've been
all
sick,
that was
though.
Yeah.
would have been cool. I'll say all that was cool talking to these guys, like guys you wouldn't expect to really talk to because
Yeah.
like everybody's thinking about Mahomes, Hurts, Kelce's and stuff like that. But talking to Travis Kelce up close was really fucking
That
cool,
was
dude.
cool.
That
Yeah.
was insane because you're talking to the best tight end in the game, one of the greatest
He's
of all
such
time,
a
if
cool
not the
guy.
greatest.
What did you ask Travis Kelce?
Shit, I mean, we were just coming off that GOAT conversation just now, so I had to ask the guy, his best friend.
You
right?
asked
Patrick
every
Mahomes
Chiefs
is-
player.
I did ask every Chiefs player. But if anybody's word matters, it's Travis Kelce's, right? I mean, the guy who Travis Kelce
Or
or who
Brittany,
Pat Mahomes connects
yeah.
with the most, or Brittany or Jackson.
So what'd you ask him?
So I asked him, yo, there's a lot of conversation right now around the GOAT.
He did specify
right?
like
I
that.
did
He prefaced the
specify
entire
because
thing.
Tom Brady retiring, posting the damn near nude picture. Patrick Mahomes
That was
making it to
horrific.
another Super Bowl, 5 straight AFC championships. So you know the whole thing. So I'd ask him, is Pat Mahomes the GOAT? And he answered. He was like, dude, it's not even a fucking question.
I don't
Like,
think he
this-
said exactly.
He
that.
didn't
I don't know. I mean,
I don't think he's allowed to say not a
Here's
fucking
what he said.
question.
Like, yeah, he's the
Okay,
best.
He didn't say
He's the
fucking,
best.
all right? He didn't say fucking. But here's what he said. He said, he's the best ever, no doubt.
Yeah.
So that's pretty much what I said. I just said it a lot cooler than that.
What about Chris
Yeah, I
Jones
was
though?
gonna
He was
say,
like,
Chris
no,
Jones did not
absolutely
agree
not.
at
Chris
all.
Jones is jealous because he's a defensive player. I play the defensive side of the ball, but like when I grew up, I played defense. You're always jealous of the offensive guys because they're scoring touchdowns
And they get
shit,
the headlines.
So
yeah, I get
they
that.
get the
I
headlines.
don't think he's that jealous if he's winning
Yeah, I
Super
don't know if
Bowls.
he's that jealous.
He has one Super Bowl. Frank Clark also has a Super Bowl, and he said that Mahomes is the GOAT. So I did go around and ask a lot of players, but Kelsey was really cool.
Yeah, but on the Kelsey name, Travis Kelsey, handsome man, but at the same time, we walked in, we said Jason Kelsey might be more handsome
No,
than
he's
Travis.
not.
No, you know who
It's not true, but when I
underrated.
saw
I mean,
I did say that
he's a
in the
good-looking
moment.
guy.
I did say that in the moment because I saw him walk out first. I didn't, the Eagles came out before the
Yeah,
Chiefs,
yeah.
so I saw Jason come out. I was like, oh man, I
That
was just
is-
like starstruck, and I was like,
Bro,
man, that's a handsome fella. I like him.
Underratedly handsome though. We were saying yesterday, Nick Sirianni.
Nick's,
I completely disagree.
Why? He kind of looks like
'Cause he's a
you,
Cowboys
actually.
fan.
Blue eyes.
He's a Cowboys fan.
He kind of looks like
He's like the non-13-year-old version of me.
He's the 16-year-old. He's a 16-year-old guy. No, I don't know. I think Nick Sirianni was a guy that, like, usually I'm so used to seeing, like, the press conference version of him, which has, he had the weird beard, right? It's almost like sometimes you cut your beard a little too high. Now, you do a good job with it, but you cut a little too high. Sirianni in his opening press conference did it a little too high, but in person yesterday.
You have to get it under, like the undertone of the jaw.
But you
That's
also
where
need to
gotta
make
get
sure
it.
you push it up. Sirianni had a good beard in person. His eyes were nice and blue. I
He
thought
has
he
nice
was.
eyes, bro. Just
Adam's
somebody
got
has
a thing
blue
for
eyes don't mean they're
Sirianni.
hot.
Sirianni was a
Usually
good
does,
interview.
actually.
We
No,
asked
I had
him-
a thing for Jordan Mailata.
Yeah, he
No,
was great.
Jordan Mailata was a guy that you just want to hang out with him.
Yeah.
Did y'all
I
sing
wanted-
with him? Or y'all tried?
tried.
I
to?
tried
We
to. I
tried.
tried to get him to sing his
Yeah.
little
Bro.
Christmas song with me. I asked a bunch of players like what your guilty pleasure song was.
That was a good one.
So I
That was a
asked
good
him,
one.
I was like, what's your guilty pleasure song and why is it your Christmas album? And he thought that I made him chuckle, so that was
You
good.
made Patrick Mahomes laugh yesterday.
I
Yes,
did
you
make
did.
That is the
Patrick
coolest
Mahomes laugh
shit.
yesterday. What did I ask him? Oh, I asked him that
Yeah,
same
same
question.
question.
Yeah.
I asked him the
And
same
he
He
had
said,
it
what was
bad.
it?
He
It was
was
Work?
I
Work by
asked
Rihanna.
Patrick Mahomes what his
hesitation.
guilty pleasure song was, and he did not hesitate. He said "Work" by Rihanna.
Bro, he's...
And I was like, that's a banger song, and he started chuckling.
He might
put
be
on his
leaving
little-
halftime meetings like a little bit early to warm up on the sidelines
It's really
just to hear
playing that?
Rihanna real
Yeah.
quick.
I mean, I would.
Like-
If I had to guess what's playing in the Mahomes household, and when I say Mahomes household, I'm including Jackson. Work would be in my top
It's a
5.
good one.
Guess.
Bro, they
I thought
both
he
work
was.
it.
Hold on, but I thought he was required to move to LA.
No,
So I
no,
don't think
no,
Jackson's
why?
there anymore.
Yeah, if you're a TikToker,
But
I think you
you
have
want-
to live in LA. That is a requirement. I've read
The
that.
Christmas Thanksgiving, when the whole family's together and Jackson and Patrick
Oh,
are in
I
the
see,
same.
I
And I'm
see.
assuming Jackson has like
I
Ox
see.
authority, probably.
Yeah,
I
I
don't
see.
know. I
I
just
see.
figure that. I would guess Work
What
in
a
my
wild
top
assumption.
5.
Yeah,
What a
no,
wild
I don't
assumption.
know.
No,
There
I
were some
think
good
Jackson
memories.
Mahomes thinks he's God, so I could see him doing
We
that.
also had some good answers.
That
like
definitely
twerking a
was
bit.
my highlight, though.
Trent
My,
wrong
my
with that.
rose was definitely talking to Mahomes, and,
That was
and he
cool.
looked me in the eyes and laughed.
you were giddy.
Yeah.
And I literally walked away
know-
starstruck, and I was like, that guy is going to be the greatest quarterback ever.
Bro,
Gotta be.
you know who I think I would like legitimately be like best friends with, like if he wasn't, on the Chiefs, would be Tommy Townsend. I think he would be my best
Y'all
friend.
vibe.
You have-
They-
Bro,
They
yeah.
vibe.
You
That
have
is
also
my
not
boy.
stopped talking about Tommy Townsend for like the last 20
Nah,
dude,
he fell in
I'm
love
in love
with
with him.
Yeah,
I'm in love.
yeah.
First of all, he's kind of dripped out. He's got a nice chain going
Nah,
on.
he was
He's got a
dripped.
man bun. He's like
I
6'3".
don't even know what he looks like if I'm being completely honest.
He's a good looking dude.
Jack-
But I was
Jack
like,
does.
I was asking him like, we're just shooting the shit in general. He's pretty funny. Like we're getting along. I'm like, what would you do if you weren't an NFL player? He'd be like, oh, I'd be a professional golfer. I was like, I knew I liked this.
Yeah.
guy.
Yeah, you
I'm
clicked it
like,
on the
yo,
spot.
all right, let's hit up the links. Let's go down to Tiger Woods' course in Branson, Missouri. Yes, I know that. I'm a Missouri guy too, just like you. Come on, I really.
Oh, he's a Missouri guy?
No, he lives in Missouri.
I had two memories yesterday though.
Oh,
that,
that's-
that
He's on the
yeah,
Kansas City
two
Chiefs.
two
Yeah, I didn't put two and two together.
Yeah.
two memories that really stuck out to me yesterday were one we talked about on the pod last week, which is talking about Donna Kelsey. Which congratulations. We're not going to say why, but congratulations.
Hang it
on-
up.
You said why last week?
Right in the
Yeah,
Raptors.
they know. But
What happened?
I asked you guys. It's like if Donna Kelsey was here, would she say Jason or Travis was the better kid growing up?
Bro, and everyone in that TikTok in the comments were like, "Oh, did you guys even watch the Kelsey's podcast, bro?" Like they basically said that Travis was way worse. Blah, blah,
Exactly,
blah.
but-
we heard from the man himself.
We had to ask Travis. Now, we did get to ask Jason, but Travis, we asked, and he actually said it was himself. Jason was the guy that was like a hothead.
Yeah.
If you started,
Rage
he
monster.
would go, exactly. I think that was
There's a
the
reason
exact
he's a
quote.
lineman. He just wants to
yeah.
run into things
Yes,
with his
yeah.
head.
Yeah.
It makes
Yeah.
sense, bro. And
Yeah.
Travis played quarterback in high school.
Pretty
So
good, you know.
Quarterbacks
He's
are
always thinking
always
10 steps
they're
ahead.
always they keep themselves right,
Right.
bro. They
Gotta
don't
stay
get in
composed,
trouble.
stay
The
level-headed.
teachers love them. The coaches love them.
Right.
Linemen, on the other hand, bro, they're
He
crazy.
did
Linemen are the
say
guys that are
he-
doing keg stands at parties as a freshman in high
Literally,
school.
literally.
I don't know.
Like-
Something tells me Travis is doing those now, but
Yeah,
Travis,
but he was more
looks
low-key
good.
about it.
Travis did say that they were both pretty misbehaved, but that Jason was a little worse, you know?
Well,
and so he was like, if you would ask my
a
mom,
relative scale.
probably she would say Jason was the worst kid. and
Well, Donna,
Travis was
because she's
better.
the mom, she'd probably say they
You
were
think that might
both
also
great.
also
They were
been
both lovely.
they were
That was also
lovely.
extremely biased, probably, of him, too.
Yeah, obviously. I bet if we
Jason-
asked Jason, he would have said the
No.
opposite.
Shocker.
No,
Yeah,
but I
yeah,
did
yeah.
have my other better memory that I think I have to talk about was me singing "I Want to Dance with Somebody" by Whitney Houston with
Shit,
Gardner
that was
Minshew.
cool.
I mean,
That's
feathered and lethal in person. Oh
Dude,
my God.
I also got to sing with a player. Chris Jones said his favorite guilty
hear
pleasure
you
song was
something.
"Dreams" by Fleetwood Mac, and he couldn't remember the name, so he started singing. He's like, hey, here you go again. And I was like, oh yeah, Fleetwood Mac, "Dreams." He was like, yeah, "Dreams."
You're like,
I
"You got
love that
great
song.
taste."
They just
And I
became best
was like,
friends.
you have great taste, man. He's like,
feel
thank
How
you.
about when me and Adam? This is the weirdest shit of all time. So I'm texting him. I'm like, yo, I just talked to Andy Reid, and I think while he's like about to like text saying, or like I'm about to get Andy Reid, and he's like, oh, like here's what I said. I didn't look at my phone because then I'm like, oh, it's my turn to talk to Andy, and so I'm like, hey, start bench cut. I'm like, hey, I heard you're a huge burger guy, as am I. Obviously, you can tell. I'm like, start bench cut, In and Out, Shake Shack, Five Guys. And he's like, oh, I just heard that in my left ear a little bit ago. Now it's from my right. I'll tell you exactly what I told him. You know, that I love them all. They're all great.
Yeah.
I come to find out, I check my phone five fucking seconds
It
later.
was Adam.
I'm like, God damn it, someone already asked that. I
And
thought
for
that was so
context,
original.
there was like 100 people around Andy.
Bro,
so the fact that
More, the whole time too.
Bro,
right?
I'm like, I thought that was so original. I'm like, this can be fucking awesome.
what that means?
And I was so mad that someone else asked it, but then it was this
You
kid.
know what the takeaway is from that? We should probably do a podcast together. You know, we have the same idea.
It was like you guys
It
are
was like-
you're meant to work together. You have the
we,
same
we
way.
didn't even talk
Bro, I
about
was
that
so-
question either.
At
No,
all.
no, that
Which
was
we talked
not.
about other questions. So
We
that's
talked about
insane.
lots of other questions
Yeah,
before.
that
and
was
one-
crazy.
Yeah, that was
I thought too about it when I was in the moment. I was like, what's your go-to burger order, or is it start bench cut? Now, we almost went the opposite way, which is like the fuck, marry, kills. But he was on TV. He probably wouldn't have done
He
that.
actually, by the way, when Adam asked it, he was on, like, they were showing individual players on the Jumbotron, like, while people were asking
Yeah.
questions. And
That was
at that
cool.
moment, you could hear the echo of that. And
That
so
was-
Andy Reid was
Dude,
on TV
that was-
while Adam
That was
asking
Lipe
the
when he was
burger
talking
question.
to.
Yeah, who was I talking
I
to?
think you were talking to
Sneed?
Darius Slay. No, it was Legarius Sneed.
Yeah,
that was
man.
good.
I
No,
thought,
what about Isaiah Pacheco?
Pacheco was crazy because
Yo,
you know that's a
that
fan.
response he had.
Bro,
That was
Pacheco's a
dope.
Did
fan
you give him
favorite,
a
specifically
Pacheco?
the Caps offense, bro.
Did you give him one of those?
Really wanted to, but like we had to keep it clean, you
Yeah.
know, asking clean questions. No, but I asked him. I told him specifically. I was like,
Yeah.
"You're the favorite running back of the Caps Off
Thank
podcast."
you. Thank you for doing that,
It's
by the
huge
way.
I
honor.
asked him, "Who do you mold your game after?" He said, "LaDainian Tomlinson." Much respect.
Well, he said
one of the
AP.
greatest ever. Shout out TCU. Shout out Texas. Shout out
There it
Texas.
is. All
Texas.
right.
Texas.
Even in Arizona,
I was
you
trying to
gotta
think of
do
the hometown he's from. I forgot. But anyways, and then I asked him his top 5 running backs. His answer straight up, didn't even hesitate. He said Isaiah Pacheco.
Now that's confident.
Legend.
I mean,
And
Legend.
dude, I didn't know what. I was like, yo, that's just hard
Dude.
as fuck.
What an honor it is for him though to be the favorite running back of the Caps Off podcast. What an honor.
There was a part of me that was thinking,
Pacheco!
yeah, exactly. I mean, when he saw your face asking the question, he's like, I've seen that before. I've seen that guy screaming.
He pisses me the fuck off every time he
I
says
don't know if
something.
I ride the Chiefs. I ride the Chiefs tails, bro.
I don't know about that. Oh, you know what was another cool moment?
Tell me.
Jalen Hurts.
I was about to say.
Jalen Hurts.
So,
yeah.
obviously-
Well, you were a
honest-
little weird. You were a little
Yeah,
weird
well,
with Jalen.
no, that checks
Shock
out.
Adam weird.
I feel
Yeah.
like we've
Shocker.
talked about individuals being very handsome, like for a lot of this podcast so far. So talk about the rest of this.
Yeah, I mean, it's 2023.
Yeah.
You know, everyone we're accepting. But
Yeah, your dads would love this.
Yeah, my dads would love this. But I think, we got to the front. Finally, Jalen Hurts had the most amount of people. We finally got to the front.
Obviously.
And we were
For
asking,
multiple reasons.
We had a
Jalen
bunch
Hurts
of,
was hard to get to.
He was,
hard
but
to
we
get
pushed
to.
our way through.
Yeah.
Now, we had a bunch of questions we wanted to ask, but in the moment, there was something that hit us. And what hit us was the fact that this man is handsome, right? We talk about this all the time. Him
His
and Jimmy
eyes in
G.
person?
Eyes, chiseled jaw, goatee, everything. So we got to the front finally.
His response was on
And
it.
I asked Jalen Hurts this, or not even asked, I made a statement. I said, Jalen, you were just recently voted the most handsome man in the NFL by the Game Day. How does that prestigious award make you feel? And I quote, he was like, I don't know.
And you were like,
I was
that's
like,
it?
that's it. And
He
he's
was
like, well, I
yeah.
guess I got good genes. And in true fashion, because I never know what to do in terms of follow-ups, I get very creepy. It was
nervous.
It
You
was
got
very
nervous.
freaked
You do
out.
get
I crumbled
creepy.
under
In the moment,
pressure.
you
It was
fumbled
like,
the ball.
instead of like complimenting him or just maybe going down a different angle, it was like, yeah, you and Jimmy G. And he was
He
just
was like,
That's when he got uncomfortable.
He's
He was
like, I'm
kinda
not gonna
smiling
talk
before
about
that,
another
after that,
man's
it was like,
appearance.
yeah,
yeah.
so that was a weird one. But it makes sense. The whole
It
place
was
went
so
silent.
funny.
It was
That
on
was like when
brand.
I talked to Darius Slay. I'm like, oh, what's your guilty pleasure song? He goes, pleasure song. I'm like, no, not like that, bro. Like,
That was funny
I'm like,
as hell.
I'm not trying to ask you what you fucked to, brother. Like,
You know what's cool
nuh-uh.
too? Darius Slay talking about his top 5 wide receivers in the NFL,
Yeah, that was
specifically
sick.
saying dogs.
Yo, he was like, I
Yeah, who
mentioned
did he
Jamar
say?
Chase. He goes, Jamar's a dog.
He gave me a few guys.
Like,
He first
Tyreek,
he talked about
dog.
Devontae Adams. He mentioned Justin Jefferson.
Jalen Waddle.
He
oh,
mentioned,
he did say Waddle?
and then he mentioned like one more, and then he's like, "Did I say Jamar Chase yet?" I was like, "Nah," and he's like, Yeah, Jamar Chase, dog.
It's like, oh, Tyreek's
Jalen
a
Waddle,
dog.
dog.
I think
Tyreek,
I think he actually said his top 5 was Jamar, Tyreek, Devontae Smith.
Devontae
He had a
Adams.
Smitty later, but
Yeah,
yeah.
he said no one
Devontae
could guard
Adams,
Smitty.
and I think it was, did I say Waddle? It was either Waddle. He had 2 Dolphins players in there. That's all.
Yeah,
I'm
it was
trying to
Waddle
get
and
at.
Tyreek.
I mean, yeah, because they're the best wide receiver duo in the NFL. I mean,
History?
Yeah, and in history.
One
But
other question that Adam and I asked while we were walking around at media night was if you weren't an NFL player or an
that was
athlete,
cool.
what would you be? And we got some good responses.
Oh,
another
dude, who did we
Jalen
get?
Hurts
Who
one.
was
Dude.
who was like?
Oh, Jalen Hurts said he was like,
He'd
I'd
be
be a
an
crawfish cook.
But the best
Hey,
best
man.
answer you got was
Interesting.
it Chris Jones?
Yeah,
Dude.
Chris Jones said he was like,
certified
I'd probably be a construction worker and smoking cigs.
Is
And
that
then he was
what
like,
he
nah, I'm playing. Yeah, it is.
Bro,
Yeah.
I would.
missed that.
And I was
Not a
like,
bad
dude,
life.
same.
No, that's like
if he's standing
that's
on
like,
a roof, I'm scared for his well-being.
bro. That's like, I mean, speaking of not NFL player, but Sean O'Malley, the
That
UFC
was
fighter.
Sean
who's
O'Malley,
there.
we got to, dude,
That
he's
was
my
so
favorite UFC
sick.
That was
fighter.
so
He was
cool.
so cool. I
sick.
thought it'd be kind of like standoffish
so
a little.
chill,
He was like
bro.
the coolest dude I think I talked to all
Yeah.
day, besides Tommy
Tommy
Townsend.
Townsend. Yep.
But
checks
no,
out.
bro, that
What did he
reminded
say?
me though when
You
I
asked him that, right?
Yeah, when I asked Sean O'Malley, I'm like, yeah, so if you weren't a professional UFC fighter, like, what would you do for a living? He goes, probably sell drugs. And he's like, no, I'm playing.
You want to know my
That's
favorite
so
part about
on
that is
brand.
like we asked that question to multiple people and everyone had like their first gut reaction, which is pretty much
Bro,
what they
he
would
did not-
actually say. But then they're like,
Sean
nah, I'm
Sean
playing this on
O'Malley did
camera.
not hesitate on that.
Yeah.
I think he was dead serious.
There were a
He's like,
lot
"Ah,
of
it's
people
on
who said
camera, I can't."
teachers. So Nick Sirianni said a
makes
teacher.
sense.
He's a coach. I feel like that makes
Yeah.
perfect
Can we go back
sense.
to Sean O'Malley though? Not to be a profiler, but like kind of looks like a drug dealer.
Yeah, that's his big.
Of course.
Like,
Well,
that's part of
I
it.
also
Yeah,
think
if you
he
follow him on
liked not
Instagram,
being
he-
the center of attention. Like everybody's there for the
Yeah.
Chiefs and Eagles, and he was
No
just
one was
kinda
really
chilling.
swarming him. He was just
Nobody
chilling.
was
He
swarming
was
him at
chilling.
all.
Yeah.
It was pretty
was
lit.
chilling.
There were some cool moments. I don't know. There were some others that we talked about. Andy Reid.
It was pretty cool seeing Adam Schefter and Ian Rappaport just chilling.
yeah.
Rap
Yeah.
also
We're
said
like,
he'd be
whoa.
a history teacher.
That was
Michael
so
Irvin,
romantic.
Right.
the
Michael
only
Irvin
other
chilling
Cowboys
over there.
fan
Oh,
that's
you got
more
to talk
annoying than you.
to you got to
Jay
talk
Glazer.
to Jay Glazer.
Jay Glazer was
exactly.
cool.
He
Yeah.
gave us his top 3 quarterbacks right now.
Jay Glazer did, in fact, say Joe Burrow didn't know if he was in that top 3.
No, he gave it to him
He
though.
gave. Well, we
Who
pulled
the
it
hell
out.
else would you put there?
Jay Glazer, his
Josh
top 3
Allen,
Maybe
Aaron
quarterbacks.
Rodgers.
Josh
Jay-
Richards said
Jay
Trevor
Glazer
Lawrence.
asked if Tom Brady counted for top 3 quarterbacks right now. We said this previous season.
he has
obviously
to.
does.
He
So he
has
put
to.
Mahomes, Brady, and
Yeah.
then we gave him a bunch of other names. He said
Yeah.
Burrow.
Yeah, I don't.
Well, we're going to talk about this a little bit later, I think. Maybe it's today,
Yeah.
maybe it's tomorrow. I don't know. But we're going to talk about rankings. And I feel like after the season's over, you're not just analyzing this year anymore. You're analyzing as a whole. Like Aaron Rodgers is right back in the top 5. Like
Yes.
right back in there.
Well,
you know what I mean?
mm.
Ahead of Burrow, ahead of Allen.
I think he's got to be.
But he's
Yeah.
about to go through that darkness retreat.
We'll
whatever he was
get there.
talking
We
about.
got
That was
another.
great.
We're gonna be here all week, so we'll talk more
Yeah.
about it. But
Yeah.
we do have to move on. We have a guest segment coming
Yes, we
up.
do.
We got a couple
we
of
are
big
about
ones.
to bring on 2 legends.
Yeah.
We
Let's
got
go,
Trey
man.
Wingo coming on, and then we got Kenny Mayne.
Yes, we do.
So let's bring him out.
Shall we? Let's get Trey in here. All right, now we got a special guest coming in. We got
Trey,
Trey Wingo.
welcome.
Wherever he is. He?
I think he's right there.
I'm the special guest?
Yeah.
You guys need to aim higher.
Well, I don't know.
We got to start somewhere, man.
You aimed pretty low by coming on here.
Well,
so.
the guy wearing the Emmett Smith shirt tell me I got to
Yeah.
aim higher. So,
Yeah.
you know.
Well, we got
I
a
thought
Cowboys
you guys
fan.
had a bond before this, though.
We
The
did, but that
Cowboys
was all
and-
for show. I now hate him. I'm kidding.
Now that the
rough.
cameras
It's
are
easy,
rolling.
it's easy to happen
Cameras
with.
on, but
Easy.
yeah, Trey was on ESPN and Sports Center for
Yeah.
20 plus years.
NFL Live,
NFL
the
Live.
draft, the radio
a
show,
lot.
Baseball Tonight. Yeah, a little bit of
Oh.
everything.
See,
Oh.
we got another
Trends
CMAD in
officer?
here, baby.
For brand ambassador for Caesars
Brand
Sports,
ambassador,
yeah.
Chief Trends Officer here
Absolutely.
at Caesars Sports. So yeah, now we saw something in your Twitter bio.
Oh, dear God.
Yeah.
That's,
We
Yeah,
like
was,
to talk about this a lot, Jack. You
Yeah,
want
I pulled up your Twitter. We're doing a little research. You know, we're very.
So, by the way,
professional.
pulling up Twitter is like the littlest research you could possibly
That's-
Hey, but I did.
I mean, let's
That's
be honest.
2023. Like,
No, I had to go in the search bar, type
Okay.
in Trey, and then maybe a W.
And
as
yet
well.
you got through the day, which is incredible.
I know.
So,
And
you know.
now we're
See,
here.
as a Missouri grad with a 2.8 GPA, this is probably like the peak of like my exhaustion I can get
2.7
to.
to 2.8. You did a
Yeah,
good job.
well, I upgraded from high school to college, but no, so I saw that in your Twitter bio it says that wins aren't a QB stat, and we
Correct.
debate about that a lot.
Well,
Yes, we
well,
do.
who says they are?
Well, it depends.
Loser.
It, well, if it applies to like Tua,
Trey Wingo
who's my
called me a
quarterback, then
loser.
yeah.
Here's the only way I can make it make sense. Brock Purdy.
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah, it's
hey,
a perfect
chill out.
example.
I'm a Niner fan.
He's a
Watch-
huge
No.
Niner
What I'm
fan.
saying, Brock Purdy gets credited for the loss in a game where he couldn't throw a pass.
Okay, see, right,
Okay,
I like where he's going.
Josh Allen gets credited for a loss in that divisional game against the Chiefs last year. He didn't screw up on special teams.
It's true.
He scored with 13 seconds left.
What the hell
and
can he
somehow
do?
he gets the loss. There was a guy that was a backup quarterback for the Steelers. His name was Landry Jones.
Okay.
A few years ago, Landry was playing for Ben because Ben was injured.
Did he play Oklahoma?
He played at Oklahoma,
Yeah,
yes. And he went down, and on the first drive of the game, he got hurt. So Ben came back into the game, played the entire game. The Steelers won, but because Landry Jones was the starter, it gets credited as a win for Landry Jones. Now, look, I'm not saying quarterbacks can't influence the game, but the idea that the win or loss goes to one player is objectively the exact opposite of everything football is.
So do you think the reason we think Tom Brady is the GOAT is because of the 7 Super Bowls and all
some
that
people
stuff?
do.
So is that,
I don't.
Yeah, see, there we go.
So you
So
don't
who's
think
the
Tom
GOAT?
Brady's
No,
the
I
GOAT?
think he's the GOAT for everything else.
Okay.
He played
Okay.
longer. He has every single record. Like, do you know the best Super Bowl Tom Brady ever played in? The best numbers he
The
had?
one he lost to the Eagles.
That's exactly right. He threw for 300
I
yards.
do my Brady research.
He threw for 300 yards at the half, threw for 505 yards in that game.
And he lost.
And he was the reason they lost, according to the official NFL stats. It's
Right.
ridiculous.
That is true.
And the
It's
ones
ridiculous.
he won, the first 3, he threw for like a touchdown or 2 touchdowns and like 220 yards
Listen,
or whatever it is.
if what's his face, the offensive coordinator for the Seahawks, just hands the ball off.
That's true.
He has
That's
6.
true.
Russ has 2 rings.
What's his name?
Marshawn Lynch.
No,
Well,
no,
no, he's the
no.
offensive
the OC,
coordinator.
yeah.
Oh.
Dean Blevins, whatever his name is. He's never been a head coach again because of that, or been given
Rightfully
a head coaching
so,
job.
rightfully so.
If you hand it off to Marshawn Lynch, that's a win for the Seahawks. But because Malcolm Butler intercepted the game, well, Tom Brady gets credited for the Super Bowl win.
Yeah, that
That's
was-
just
Yeah,
dumb.
yeah.
Right.
It's dumb.
Well,
Hasn't
yeah.
it? I think in his 7 Super Bowl wins, hasn't he only been the MVP like 4 times or something like that, or 5?
Well,
maybe?
you just said he's a
No,
four.
but
You just
I'm
said he's a
saying, like,
four-time
if
Super
you-
Bowl MVP. That's not really helping your argument.
No. But you know what I'm saying? Where like if he's balling out in every single one of those Super Bowls, he should win the MVP every time. It's a quarterback
Well, yeah,
award.
we've
a lot.
been saying though that Tom Brady has always had a supporting cast. He had great coaching. He had great defenses to play with. Like,
Well, why don't
so,
we
He's
introduce
locked
one of
and loaded.
Why
He's
don't we
locked and
introduce Trey one of the biggest arguments of the podcast, which is I think Patrick Mahomes is greater than Brady ever was. Now, the reason I say that
Look at the face.
He said, sorry, you've been saying he's a
Now-
better player than Brady ever
now
was.
Brady is obviously more accomplished, so he is the GOAT. Patrick Mahomes isn't the GOAT yet because he needs the accomplishments. But in terms of being the most dominant quarterback in any given time period, I don't think Brady ever dominated. I think he was always competing with Peyton Manning, always competing with guys like Drew Brees, Aaron Rodgers, Brett Favre even, for that top title. And I think Patrick Mahomes is right now not even close to the best.
No.
He's
Aaron-
far.
No
not
one
even-
else
not
is
even-
close
yeah,
to
not
him.
even close to competition.
No other
I,
quarterback is
I,
close to
I will
Patrick Mahomes.
agree with half of that.
Yes.
Because
Okay.
I've been calling Patrick Mahomes Hall of Famer Patrick Mahomes since 2018.
Oh, okay.
Okay. If he doesn't play tomorrow, he's a first ballot Hall of Famer.
That
If his
I agree.
career ends before the Super Bowl, he's a first ballot Hall of Famer.
We've talked about that a lot.
It's the
on
Gale
pod, too.
Sayers effect. You don't need a lot of time to realize how unbelievable this guy is.
Right.
I believe that Patrick Mahomes will eventually be the gold standard for quarterbacks. I believe he's going to be that guy. But he's going to have to play for a while to take that title away from Brady. And for me, it has nothing to do with rings. It would be great if he got 2 or 3 more, which would solidify. Nobody's getting 7. Nobody's getting 7. That's insane. It's
gotta
never
play
going to
for so
happen.
long.
That's like Bill Russell numbers.
Yeah, and
seriously.
what
I mean, he
Brady was best at, which he never gets credit for, was not wanting to be the highest paid player. Like, he could have demanded a lot more from New England, and they would have had to pay him.
Right.
But he knew that that would hurt the rest of the team's chances for success around him. And I think Patrick is cut the same way. Brady has even talked about that. He said, what I really like about Mahomes is that he hasn't said, give me everything, just give me enough and make sure we have enough to make sure I'll have better players around me. Because teams win games, teams win
Wait, but
championships.
correct me if I'm wrong. Brady in his first, 10 years won 3? Was that what it
Something
was?
like that,
Something
yeah.
like that?
Then
Okay,
it,
if
then it took
Mahomes,
like 10 or 11
exactly.
years to win
You
another.
just said no one's getting 7. Mahomes, if he can get this one, he would have been in the
That's
league for what,
that's
5
two
years?
That's 2 in like 5 years.
That's
of
2 and
starting.
5
You
years.
might be on, not necessarily on pace, but you might. If you're Patrick
Listen.
Mahomes, you're.
And yeah, look,
You're pushing it.
I am the biggest Patrick Mahomes supporter, believer.
He's close, too.
Ever.
He'll fight you
like,
for
I
that.
mean, like literally, it's not close. Like everyone loved Joe Burrow. And Joe Burrow's a great quarterback. Don't get me
Here we
wrong.
go. Here we
Okay,
go. Fire.
like Joe has a cheat code in Jamar Chase.
Call him a hater now. Call him a hater now.
Okay, and
All
he
right.
has T. Higgins, who's an unbelievable receiver.
Yes.
He has a running game that has Joe Mixon and Samaje Perine.
Perine's
Shout out
underrated.
OU.
Cook Trey.
Absolutely
Cook Trey.
fantastic. Patrick Mahomes lost Tyreek Hill.
Thank you.
Lost Tyreek Hill, and what happened? Number 1 scoring offense, number 1 total offense,
God.
most passing yards,
Preach
most
it,
passing
preach it.
touchdowns, and set the record for most combined yards in a single bleeping season. Nobody does that when they lose Tyreek Hill. Tua is great because they got Tyreek Hill.
facts.
Jalen
Bingo.
Hurts is good
Facts.
because he
Bingo,
got A.J.
bingo.
Brown.
Yes! Something-
You just took
He's
away the
cooking.
second best receiver
Oh
at
my
worst
God.
in the NFL today, and Patrick Mahomes said, "Hold my frickin' beer."
Hold on, hold on,
Something
hold on.
we have
hold
been
on.
saying
No,
all
You gotta
year.
tap him up,
Something
bro.
we have been saying all year has been, in order for a quarterback to actually be a top 5 quarterback, you need weapons. Except for Patrick Mahomes. He is proving
He's
that
an
he's
alien.
the only guy that can make his team win without having a top 5 wide
He
receiver.
didn't have wide receivers in the
Exactly.
AFC Championship game, and
Oh
they
my
still
God.
got here.
On one leg.
It was
What do you have?
MVS
We
and then
We
who?
posted that
Like-
video the other day, and we keep
Yeah.
getting flamed for it. But we said the Eagles don't make the Super Bowl without A.J. Brown.
Correct.
We also said that Jalen Hurts, which is not a knock, is somewhat of a product of the system.
Jalen Hurts is a really good player, and Jalen Hurts has a leadership about him that transcends his skill set
Okay.
that I think you cannot overstate or underquantify. But I don't want to call him a system quarterback
Well-
No,
because,
not a system.
because he's been at 2 different systems in college and kicked ass in both.
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whether it was Oklahoma or Alabama. Jalen Hurts is giving, like, the difference in Jalen from this year to last year is 2 things. That loss to the Bucs in the wild card round, the game was way too fast for him. It
Yeah.
wasn't there. That's a learning curve that he got better at. And then the move of the offseason was getting A.J. Brown.
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just think, and when we talk about Jalen Hurts being a product of the system, like the idea that someone is a system quarterback feels like a knock on them. And like you mentioned, if you get the alpha talent, right?
Yeah.
If you get supporting cast with them, a strong offensive line, you're going to have success. That's not a bad thing.
Yeah.
But going back to the Joe Burrow comment,
Yeah.
is Joe Burrow a product somewhat of a fantastic system around him to have success? Because he's had that all throughout college.
Joe Burrow is the product of exceptional DNA. I want to tell you a great story. Okay.
Oh,
all
here we
right.
go. Story time.
I love stories.
This is one of my favorite
it.
draft stories of all time, courtesy of my good friend and coworker Jim Carr, who worked with me at ESPN on the draft and now works with me at Caesars. He
Shout
puts
out,
together
Jim.
these notes of these packages. We got this note about Joe Burrow. When he was 9 years old, he was playing in an AAU basketball team, and his team was down by 8 points with 30 seconds to go. The coach said we kind of thought it was over, and then Burrow scored 9 straight points, including 7 straight free throws to give the team the win. And his coach was also a sociology professor at Ohio University. And after the game, he went to Burrow's parents and said, I just want you to know that Joe has the kind of qualities you find in first responders, policemen, and serial offenders. In other words, his blood pressure doesn't change whether he's cutting the lawn or pulling people out of a building. I say this because I work with people and I do sociology on crime. Thank God he's not using his talents for bad, because he could be the next Dexter.
So literally,
he's
Joe,
a stone cold killer.
so
That's one of the
Joe
coolest-
Cool
that's
is
one of the coolest
literally
stories I've heard.
like very spot on. to
Joe
the-
Cool
That's
is the
scientifically
perfect
proven.
nickname for him. Like,
Wow.
he showed up at the AFC Championship game with a T-shirt that said "Sorry in advance." That's how
insane.
confident he
Now,
was.
I think Joe Burrow is very cool, but I also think when we talk about, I think there's this narrative around Joe. Everybody knows that, right? Everybody knows that Joe Burrow's that
Is
guy
he gonna
that
come back to Dak right now?
is no.
Not yet, not yet.
Not yet.
For your sake, it shouldn't.
Oh,
Oh,
you're
look at
surprised.
that.
You'd be
But
surprised. Yeah.
I think this narrative around Joe Burrow, I think everyone has caught on to that. It's Joe Cool. But what was the stat out of
It was like fourth quarter touchdowns, a drive ending in a touchdown in the fourth quarter or something like that.
yeah, I think in the last was it first 6 starts? Yeah,
Some
first 6
cherry-picked
playoff starts.
stat,
It's
yeah.
not cherry picked. It's first 6
It's a cherry
playoff
picked
starts.
stat, but it's okay.
Fourth quarter touchdowns led. Joe Burrow had 0 in his first 6 starts, and compared to like Patrick Mahomes, he had 10. Peyton Manning had like 6. Different quarterbacks like that.
Yeah.
So I think we were just discussing around like Joe Burrow. Is he winning these games or is his team winning these games? So obviously, like,
It's a 4-quarter game.
you go win the game, but if he's not leading his team to touchdowns in the fourth quarter, then I don't know where that Joe Cool narrative
Or
in the
maybe
fourth quarter.
he doesn't need to because the game's been put away. Like, that to
Right.
me it sounds like a great stat. It's like the stat. Well, how many drives does this quarterback have that in the fourth quarter or overtime at 2 minutes that have led to wins? Well, I mean, it depends on what the defense does.
Right, totally.
Right?
Yeah, yeah.
Like, for example, a few years back, the Steelers and Ravens played the final game of the regular season. Winner wins the division. Loser is either out of it or a wild card, whatever. Joe Flacco led the team down for a go-ahead score with 1:46 to play. That's a winning drive inside the final 2 minutes of a game.
yeah.
And then the defense took the field.
Yeah.
And they marched right down the field, and that was the immaculate extension play by Antonio Brown. So Joe Burrow not only gets credit for a loss with that, but also his game-winning drive wipes off the board because the other guy just did the other thing. So it's those stats can be very misleading.
Quarterback
Coming back
can't
to the
play
win
defense.
stat, we talk about with Joe Burrow. Like Joe Burrow, the reason that he's probably in that number 2 ranking or even 3, depending if you want to put Josh Allen there. But wouldn't you say he's there because of the wins and getting to the AFC Championship?
I think he's there because of the way he's performed. Like I don't do the this was the first game, the AFC Championship game, where I thought he didn't play great. He threw 2 interceptions, and they were both very questionable balls.
Jack, call him a hater.
Hey, he's speaking facts.
No. But I mean, like that 4th and whatever that he threw, that's a cheat code, man. Joe Burrow calls those 80-20 balls. But here's the way to quantify Joe Burrow, okay? In the 52-year history of the Bengals franchise, before Joe Burrow got there, they'd won 5 playoff games. In the time that since Joe Burrow has been there, they've won 5 playoff games.
That's
okay?
ridiculous.
Put it another way. In the history of the Chiefs franchise, before Patrick Mahomes became the starter, they had never hosted an AFC Championship game. Since he became the starter, they've only hosted AFC Championship
That's
games.
crazy.
Patrick Mahomes does not played a road playoff game in his career.
Right.
That's actually crazy.
absurd.
I
Super
never
Bowls
realized
are
that.
neutral games.
Wow,
he has
that's
never
insane.
played a road playoff game.
Well, can I ask you a question? Why do you say Joe Burrow over Josh Allen definitively?
The Bills have been on a remarkable run. What do they have to show for it?
True.
What do they have to show for
Well,
it?
3 Super Bowls if you go on social media. They've won the last 3 Super Bowls.
Well, congratulations, because those Lombardi trophies are still missing in Orchard
I
Park.
can't find them.
But are we talking about winning isn't a quarterback stat?
That's what I was about to say.
Accomplishing something, okay? Like Burrow has been to 2 straight AFC Championship games and a Super Bowl with the team. The thing that the Buffalo Bills are hanging their hat on right now is that we got to 1 AFC Championship.
And lost.
Okay?
and being the favorite to win the Super Bowl.
Yeah. And look, I like Josh. Don't get me wrong. I think he's tremendous.
He's unbelievable.
But they, as an organization, have to find a way to get it done. They lost a home playoff game to Cincinnati in the snow. That was the first time a Sean McDermott coach team had lost a home playoff game. He'd been 4-0 at Orchard Park, 0-4 away.
Mm-hmm.
The Bills, since 1988, were 13-1 at home in the postseason. That was the best record in the NFL. The Bills, as an organization, are not where the Bengals are as an organization.
Wow.
And a lot of that is on the Joe Burrow rookie contract. But
That's
even
right.
this season, ever since the ligament injury, Bills' offense was not the same.
Well, it
Nah,
just
it
was
wasn't
not
it-
the same.
It
And
was
Josh goes into these weird areas
Yes.
where he sort of loses it in the red zone. And, you know, you can't do that if you want to be – like, you pay a quarterback for 3 reasons.
Mm-hmm.
To win in the red zone, win in the first score in the final 2 minutes of the first half, and the final 2 minutes of the game. That's what you pay and win on third down.
Mm-hmm.
That's what you pay a quarterback to do. Josh has one red flag that he's got to address, and it's those red zone turnovers.
I
Now,
agree.
that's decision making, right?
It almost
For the
seems like
most
it's
part?
that innate thing that we saw in his rookie year when he was just super turnover prone,
Yeah.
where some flip switch in his brain, he tries to make such a
the
play.
Superman
Do
complex.
you remember the playoff game they played against the Texans, where they were up big and like his eyes were as wide as saucers, and then the next year that really calmed down for him, but that sort of came back again this year a couple
know
of
what
times.
happened this
And in the Minnesota game, for example, I give him all the credit in the world. He threw 2 red zone interceptions, and he had the fumbled snap on
Yeah.
trying to sneak out of the goal
Yeah,
line.
yeah.
You know, and he just said, I got to play better. I got to be better. Those are the situations that he needs to manage. He has every tool, and his ability to run is incredible because of that frame. I'm scared to death about that for him because as big and strong as he
That's what
is,
we
the
said.
other guys are bigger, and they're stronger. It's
We
only
saw
going
what
to
it did
take
to
one.
Cam Newton, too.
It's only going to take one, and that could rewrite the Josh Allen history, and I don't like that for him.
Well, I just think to recap that Bills conversation, I think the Bills need a philosophical change.
They do.
I mean, they just point. There's too many variables
There are
that
2
allow
teams in the
Josh
AFC that
Allen
I
to
think
fill
are
INTs.
demonstratively better than them, as good as they are, and they got to figure that out.
And the Miami Dolphins are one of them.
I think we could talk about this all day. We got to move on, but I want to run one thing by you. We put together a parlay for the Super Bowl with Caesars.
Well, I have my
that
Caesars Sportsbook
we're
prop bets
taking.
right here.
Oh, there we go.
So
Fine
first of all,
artwork, by the way.
we want to know.
What are you taking?
I
I'm
want to know
curious, yeah.
what are your bets for the Super Bowl.
I really like some of the weirder ones.
Yes.
Yeah,
Those
what
are
do
the-
you-
those
what
are
are
the
we
most
Before we
talking
get
fun
to the
ones.
weird ones, who do you think's going to win?
Well, I picked the Chiefs to start the season, so it would be ridiculous to leave now.
Yeah.
I do think the Eagles are a better team.
Yes, they are.
but I can't remember if I had this conversation with you or somewhere else I just was. So if I've already said this, bear with me. This is their third Super Bowl in 4 years. They've hosted 5 straight conference championship games. If they don't win another one, this run will not be looked at as a success.
Yeah.
Whether that's right or wrong. It'll be looked at as, you almost could have been a dynasty, but you were just really good.
Yep.
And I think they feel the weight of history, and they want to stamp their mark as one of the great teams in the history of the NFL. Their chance comes Sunday.
Yeah. Don't give them a chip too, being the underdog going in too. You do not want the Chiefs. Playing with that.
If the line holds, and by the way, it may go back and forth because the Chiefs reported everybody healthy for the second straight day. This will be the first playoff game in Mahomes' career where he's been an underdog.
Wow.
He's only been an underdog 9 times in the regular season.
I like that.
6-3 straight up, 7-1-1 against the
Wouldn't
spread.
last year? Wouldn't 2 weeks ago have been the first time if the lines didn't flip that he would have been a home underdog ever?
Yeah.
Which is just crazy.
So what are your more crazy prop bets for the Super Bowl?
I want to hear like Rihanna's first song.
No. How about this one? The good Rihanna one is over under 9.5 songs.
I hope it's the over.
Yeah.
9.5 seems like a lot.
It does feel like a lot.
Well,
I hope it's the over.
give
I
me
hope it
more.
goes for 30 minutes.
The over is good for us.
I'll take the under there.
Yeah, see?
I feel like her songs are a bit longer. Some of them.
Well,
Some of
they'll
them.
cut it out.
Well, it's a
They
performance.
usually they like do half of song.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
then
yeah.
the next
I do like this one, and this is the prop bet that started the prop bet craze. In 1986, Caesars Palace put a bet 20-1 odds that the Fridge would score an offensive touchdown because that was the year Ditka put him in, and it got so much action the odds actually dropped from 2-1.
Wow.
And he scored in the third quarter of Super Bowl 20.
Wow.
46-10 the final score. And so now in honor of that, they keep the odds at 20-1. It's only happened to one other player. Do you know who that is
here we go.
in Super Bowl history? That had a defensive player scoring an offensive touchdown.
player.
Offensive touchdown. Anyone?
know.
Anyone?
No.
He did it twice.
Were we alive?
Twice.
How old are you?
25.
You were alive.
Mike
Okay,
Vrabel?
still don't know.
No?
Mike Vrabel, yes!
Wow.
Good pull.
You like that?
Back-to-back touchdown catches from Brady in Super Bowls 38 and 39.
Wow.
Hey, I'm 13, but I'm a historian, man.
Can I tell you something else? Mike Vrabel has the greatest stat line in the history of the NFL. As a linebacker, here's his career receiving stat. 12 targets, 12 catches for 12 touchdowns.
What?
No,
That's like
two of
J.J.
the
Watt on
Super Bowl.
steroids.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
12 targets, 12 receptions for 12 touchdowns.
Do we put him in the conversation
And that's
with
why
Jerry
Brady's
Rice
not
at
the
this
GOAT.
point?
Mike Vrabel's the
That's
GOAT.
the greatest stat
Titans
line
can't
of
do
all
anything.
time.
Give
You got
that
the
even
Mount
Joe
Rushmore.
Burrow.
The Mount
If it
Rushmore
wasn't-
of receivers goes Jerry Rice, T.O., and you got to put Mike Vrabel up there as
yeah.
well. I mean,
What about
it's
Randy
just-
Moss? Vrabel's got better lines,
I don't know.
man.
I mean, does he have
He's got
12,
better
12,
lines.
12?
All right, so we're taking.
Introduce the parlay
We've been
real quick.
running with the Mahomes is the GOAT narrative all
Yes, we
season
have.
long. Felipe said it pretty earlier.
He's going to be the best that's ever, if it's all
Yeah.
barring catastrophic.
So we put together a Super Bowl parlay.
Knock on wood.
Yeah,
and,
facts.
and I want to know what you think. It's almost entirely Mahomes. Okay. So the first leg is Chiefs money line.
Easy.
Then we got Mahomes passing yards over 290.5.
Okay.
It's a high line.
Mahomes
moved.
over touchdowns 1.5.
Yeah. Total touchdowns or passing
touchdowns?
Okay.
Over so
He
two.
had 2 against the Bengals with no wide receivers.
Right.
Again, I just want to point that
There
out.
it is.
And then the last leg is Mahomes over rushing yards at 19.5.
I think that one goes down quickly.
That's.
I don't know because the pass
think
rush
that
from
one's-
the Eagles, he's going to have to scramble out of the pocket
You think
a
that
lot.
one hits?
Yeah, I think that one.
I think
Oh,
let's
go. That
I
gives
thought,
me
I thought it
confidence.
was over like
We were
it's
trying
no,
it's
I
We're
think
worried
take
about
the
his
over on
ankle.
that.
I
yeah,
was worried.
yeah.
We were trying to move the line down to 14.5.
we wanted to go alternate.
If he
alternate
has
line.
to run with 2 weeks rest, he'll run.
Yeah.
He won't
Yeah.
do it a lot, but
Yeah.
He's
all
got
he needs
all
is
offseason to get
two,
better.
2 good ones.
I
I mean, we
wanted
saw
to
him
put
on the
in.
last play against the Bengals. He wasn't
When he
running all
had to
game. When he
have it.
had to run, he'll
When he
run.
had, by the way, can I just tell you, since we're on the Mahomes thing, that's one of my favorite numbers of all time. That game, that postseason game, the AFC Championship game, was the 3rd time in Patrick Mahomes' career where he's gotten the ball in a playoff game with less than a minute to go, either down or tied, and gone on to score the game-winning points.
Less than
No
a
other
minute.
quarterback in the history of the NFL has more than one of those.
Are you sure?
He has 3 in 5 seasons as a starting
What a
quarterback.
legend.
Go.
It's not close.
Go.
No wonder Giselle
So,
asked for a divorce.
Listen. Here's what I say: you can have any other quarterback you like, and you can have your beliefs. I got the receipts with number 15.
That's
Hey, you got your
I got the
beliefs. I got the
receipts.
receipts. Put that
like
on a
it.
T-shirt.
So what's our parlay?
So our
To
parlay
recap.
are the total odds are plus 700. They're going to be up. This parlay is going to be up for if you're listening at home. You could take this parlay. It starts at midnight, February 8th. We're recording this February 7th, so that's tonight at midnight. And it's going to be up for about 48
break it
hours.
down.
So definitely take it.
Trey's
And,
taking it. He said he likes it.
I think he's taking it. It's his
smash
GOAT,
that,
so
man.
he's got to take
the GOAT
it.
parlay.
So definitely make sure to take that if you're at home. If you miss the 48-hour window, you could build the parlay yourself on the Caesars app, so be sure to do that. But Trey, this has been great.
Awesome.
Thanks for coming on, man.
Thanks for coming on.
I
Respect
appreciate
to you for wearing that shirt because I remember when the Cowboys were good. I actually went to those Super Bowls with my dad, so
That's
Yeah,
awesome.
was a fun time.
I wasn't alive.
How
but
old were you the
I've seen a lot of
last time
tapes.
they won?
32. Jeez.
32?
Age is just a number, Trey.
Yeah.
Age is just a
fine.
number.
Well, to say that, would you say how long it takes me to get out of this chair?
I feel the
Appreciate
same.
you coming on. Thank
Yeah,
you.
thanks so
Trey.
much.
It was great,
Thanks,
man.
man.
It
Appreciate
was
it. Thanks
great.
so much.
Yeah.
Let's
All right,
rock.
now we are on to our next guest. We got here Kenny Mayne. What's up, Kenny? How you doing?
You guys are
Welcome.
desperate already on a Tuesday, I see.
Yeah, well, hey, Tuesday, we're starting off strong. But you were
funny.
formerly at ESPN, right? For what,
Yes,
25 plus years?
27 years, 1 month.
27
You know-
years in a month.
You know,
Long
why,
time.
you know why I respect Kenny right here is through this whole radio row stuff. He has one of my favorite combos I can possibly wear is the pants and flops. It's the most comfortable thing ever.
These look like pretend pants. They're real pants. They're linen. I think I got them in Bahamas.
Ooh.
If I am
subtle
ever
flex.
a yoga instructor, my look is going to be these pants, barefoot, and some kind of cool T-shirt.
In a way, it is very much a yoga
Yeah.
vibe.
Well, you know what I've adopted, and I've come to this because the COVID thing, you wear sweats all the time.
Yeah.
And coming out of that, jeans aren't even that comfortable. I have a couple pair that
I
are pretty
hate
good.
jeans.
They're not that great. So I've gone with these are real pants.
These
So if you wear good pants and then you go T-shirt on top, if it's a good T-shirt,
a nice
you don't even
t-shirt.
have to wear a
Just on
stupid.
the subject of pants,
That's
though.
quote unquote dressing up. Now,
Yeah,
you know?
because
Yeah.
certain
point.
towns they'll look at you funny. I wear flip flops. We talked about this before. I got a ruined ankle from football,
Athlete.
and I don't wear shoes well. Like I always have a bad day if I try to wear tennis shoes or if I did anything
flops.
athletic. So I have a foundation. We give away these devices that I wear
Oh, wow.
to veterans who
cool.
need them. It's called Run Freely, runfreely.org. I broke mine back in UNLV way back when in football, and now I'm old, and it is what it is. But otherwise, I'd rather be barefoot. I feel like the flip-flops are a concession to society alone. I got slippers. I used to have some Snoop Dogg slippers.
Oh, yeah?
Oh.
But they wore out, and I want new ones so badly. They're the coolest shoes ever.
Where do you even get
Shit.
Snoop Dogg
I got them from
slippers?
Snoop
Snoop
Dogg's
Dogg.
guy.
Yeah,
Nice.
from Snoop Dogg.
I got
Well, the
other-
toes are breathing. But
Got
just,
other stuff.
My dad says
also.
the same thing. He's like, society makes us wear shoes.
Yeah.
I want to just wear flip-flops, and after the pandemic, he
Well, my
always wears
toes are-
like Birkenstock slides.
my
He
toes are
knows.
really hot.
You gotta
right
let
now.
them
But
breathe.
Quickly, on the conversation, you said these aren't real pants, or these are real
No,
pants.
they're real pants.
I
They-
maintained they look. Some people
I
think
think-
they're. Are they sweats?
I
What
think
are they?
that's what people.
These
These
are
two,
legitimately. These are
Lululemon?
real
Oh,
I was just about
pants.
to say.
Lin-
These are
linen
real, they
pants.
look
Jay-Z,
straight
said-
up
Jay-Z said
linen
it best.
pants.
Linen shorts with my balls don't get
They
hot.
might be cotton.
I'm
linen.
just saying, Jay-Z said it best. You got to wear the linen, bro.
I was going to say what are considered real pants, but I guess we just answered
So I
that.
dropped
If it
down.
has a
I
button.
gave away a lot of my clothes to like Goodwill and some other charitable. I don't need as. I have no clothes almost. Gretchen gives me like 7% of the closet. We have like one of those big walk-in
Yeah,
things.
yeah,
you got
yeah.
I have
one
this
hanger.
little corner. Yeah.
Hey.
I mean,
It's a simple
and
man.
It's a dummy.
she
Simple
deserves it.
pleasures.
But why do I need stuff I'm not going to wear? So I did like a roster check. I looked at like who's not getting minutes.
Hey, coach,
Who's
When's
not
the
getting
la-
minutes?
like, we're cutting some people today.
No, what-
It's like
it
a
wa-
bench game
It's
today,
the
huh?
hardest thing you have to do as a coach, let someone go. But I looked at like some stuff like I haven't worn that in 4 years. Why is it in my closet?
Nah, you got to
All
get
right,
rid
bring
of
'em
it.
out,
And
bring 'em out.
somebody else can use it. We
gotta
should
do
bless
that.
it.
Right, put it on waivers. Somebody will pick it
And
up.
I would
Yeah.
advise any men out there, like ESPN used to buy me a new suit or two every year.
Yeah, yeah.
And so through time, because I did that one show, the game show, and I got a whole bunch of it. So I had just, ridiculous embarrassment. What am I going to wear a suit for now? Like, they let me get away wearing this now.
See,
at
I-
Caesars.
Someone was
I
blessed
hope I
with a
don't have to
beautiful
wear a suit
Kenny
unless
Mayne
it's
suit.
But I gave them to a place, a job. It was like a homeless thing plus a job training thing right next door. Somebody now can wear a suit and go get a job that they might not have before.
That's smart.
There
That's
you go.
And say that Kenny Mayne once wore this
Well,
suit.
they don't know that part.
They should.
Mayne.
You didn't embroider it or anything?
I like it when you find money, like you out of the dryer, you pull out your.
Oh, that's
there's
so
a
crazy.
20
Even if it's a
You don't even
quarter, you're
realize
like,
it was
that could,
there?
that could
any
do
amount,
something.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
You-
preferably $100.
You
if
feel
that-
like Bezos.
We should talk a little bit about football.
Oh, right, we're here for football.
We are here
Yeah,
for the
yeah,
Super
not
Bowl.
About what?
Yeah, football. Tell us a little bit about your playing career, because for the people that don't know at home, they might not know who you are as a player.
Yeah. What's up with you guys? Which camera are we working on?
I don't know which one.
You can look at
air.
all.
Camera.
Look around.
We just
We got a following of TikTok followers.
That's my
who are all, like,
single
children.
wide shot.
Yeah.
Wide shot group. Okay.
Kenny
I
Mayne,
just like
big
to know. I like
technology guy.
context.
Kenny, talk to the
Talk to the
TikTok.
Talk to the people.
Tell the people who you are.
We the
about your
people.
playing career
Okay.
specifically. I wanna hear
Well,
about that.
how
Where'd
far
you
back
play?
do you want to go?
Pee Wee.
I went out. Okay. I went out to try out in 4th grade. I got up for the sign-up day, and you had to be 10.
What state was this?
Washington, south of Seattle, Kent,
It's not
Washington.
Texas. Nice.
So I go to Star Lake Elementary. It's tryout day, and I got my form. My parents signed. Apparently, they didn't read the rules very well because I'm only 9. You got to be 10. I was so sad. So I played soccer that year.
Oh, geez.
No, I like soccer.
Football.
I appreciate the sport now. I was no good at it. And my heart wasn't. I want to play football. Next year I played football. I'm terrible. I weigh like 7 pounds. Getting just murdered by these people.
Better than 6.
The next year, I'm getting a little better. I can throw at an early age, but I break my femur.
Oh my
That's
God.
a good time. If
Ooh,
you
as an 11-year-old?
11-year-old,
real fun.
I tried to tackle a guy that weighed like 25 pounds more. He got his helmet under, so I'm basically lying on the ground like this.
Yeah,
This is
yikes.
before 911. I'm so old there was no 911. Wait, you guys don't even know what that is?
hell do you
I didn't know
call?
911 just like didn't
Ghostbusters? Who do
exist
you
at some
call?
There was
point.
a time, the Ghostbusters.
Yeah,
exactly.
well, you call 0 and ask the operator, but there was no 911.
Transfer me
Yeah.
to emergency.
It was
news
like
to
a
me.
big thing. He's looking at the astonishment on that man's face. What are you?
how was there not 911?
There was no 911. When advanced 911 technology came into being, it was a big deal. Like, oh, we now can service all these areas.
I'm
So,
amazed you played football again after that.
Yeah, what?
Well, that's why you switched to offense,
yeah.
probably.
So,
right?
no, I was offense. In that drill, I was playing defense poorly. So, we're only up to 6th grade. Stand by. How long is this thing? Because
We got time. We got
yeah,
time.
Trey up
Good
here
NFL.
for like
Good thing we
2
got a-
hours.
we got a 7-hour window.
Recovered. fully,
Okay,
and we're back.
so they put me in the back of Lyle Foltz's truck, assistant coach Lyle Foltz, and
Back
they put
of
a
the
bunch of
truck
coats
with the-
on me, like keep the kid from going into shock.
Hold it down.
Now me, I would have called an ambulance. I would have ran to a house. Hey, there's houses right there. Hey, we got a guy with a fucking broken femur over
He's
here.
like,
Let's
just get in the back of the
clean it up."
truck, you're good.
Yeah. So they finally get me to the hospital. I had a broken femur. So of course I came back and played the next year, 7th grade. We were undefeated. Mark Sansevier ran for 2,000 yards. Free shout
I
out,
remember
Mark
that.
Sansevier.
I remember
Yeah.
that. I remember hearing about
Prop
that.
bet. That was a prop bet, early prop
As a
bet.
12-year-old.
Yeah.
I only threw for like 300. We mainly ran the ball, right? Now I'm in junior high, and we're facing other guys have grown faster. They're more mature. They're driving Mustangs to school, like dating teachers. Everything's weird. I'm dating.
That seems a little.
They're dating teachers.
That was a good.
Okay.
That was a good era, man.
That was just a joke.
13-year-olds
That just
and
came out in the
60-year-olds.
moment. I was trying to speak to their maturity level, whereas I'm, 5'7", 100 nothing, right?
Right.
So 9th grade, I'm finally going to get a chance to start, and I break my leg that week, that Wednesday before my first start.
Something with your legs. You guys don't have
That
a
was
good
left
relationship.
ankle. That was
ankle.
nothing.
So you
That
got
was a
left
Band-Aid.
femur, left
Mercurochrome,
ankle. Did you break
put it
the
away.
knee too?
But high school, I'm still little. I'm only like 5'8". They're like, what's he doing here? But I grew quickly. I filled out a little bit. Ended up playing in JC, did okay. Played at UNLV. Then the kid who played ahead of me, Sam King, who led the nation in passing yards, got offered to go to Seattle. He turned it down. My coach said, hey, if you like Sam, you like this guy, me. And I got to throw to Steve Largent for my tryout.
Oh wow.
Signed.
One of the goats.
I signed. I left out a broken leg in the middle there somewhere, but failed the physical on day one. So the broken leg from my junior year of college took me out of, not that I was going to be Joe Montana, but
You
I
never
was
know.
good enough
You
to be
know.
in their camp. I could throw and hang in there and not look terrible.
Steve Largent, that's really cool.
That was
just for
fun. And
tryout.
I'm
Wow.
interviewing Randall Cunningham, my old teammate, this week.
Oh, there you go.
That's pretty cool. Well,
That was
naturally-
a lengthy and cumbersome
No, that was
story.
great.
It was-
I
it was
enjoyed
a
that.
great
Sexual
What I really
references,
got
had
from
a
it is
lot
that your
going on.
leg is fucked.
Yeah. Your left leg specifically.
Yeah, I'm
left-
fine now, except this ankle's ruined. Separated both shoulders. Football's dangerous.
Football's dangerous.
Football's dangerous.
Let's talk about the game.
Well, now you.
What were you?
I want
yeah.
to naturally go into it because obviously that was a different era. Football
Time
was a
out
lot-
for a sip of water. Keep going.
Yeah, go
Keep
for
going.
it.
Time out.
Football was a lot more physical at that time than it is now. And Trent Dilfer, actually, we were talking about it yesterday, just came out, and he said that the game today doesn't impress, the quarterbacks today don't impress him as much as the old guys because they're not going against the physicality that the old
well, it's 'cause-
quarterbacks were. When you were playing, obviously the physicality was different. You're going against guys like
You could break your femur at any time.
at any time. That's right. You
What's that?
experienced
The
it.
refereeing.
I don't
The
know.
referee
I
and, like,
saw
all
the
that.
Dilfer comment, and I respect that he has his opinion on that. And I agree with the underlying premise that they, over time, have favored the offense, changed the rules,
it's not even close.
protect the quarterback. There's no bump in the whole field. Lester
impossible to play
Hayes used to
defense
bump
now.
down the whole field, right?
Yeah.
So it has favored the offense. I wouldn't say that it's easy. You still got 300-pound people
Yeah.
coming at you 100 miles an hour, and you have to get it out. So I think where he went too far is I'm not impressed. I'm still impressed.
How
I
could you
won't
not?
deny that offenses are favored now because they favor the scoring for the fans,
Right,
but
right.
Yeah, it's more
it's
fun.
still not the easiest thing, and it's much easier to talk about quarterbacking when you're not on the field and you can go like that on a TV.
Yeah, you can nitpick.
Yeah.
But also on that topic, Lawrence Taylor also just said that Tom Brady's not his GOAT because of the same exact reason. He
Who's-
said
who's Lawrence Taylor's
he said
GOAT?
Joe Montana.
Yeah,
Joe
well, Joe
Mon-
Montana
yeah,
never lost in the Super Bowl.
Joe Montana is still my number one.
But
Really?
he's
Not because of all that reasoning, just
I am curious why, because I
and
don't
again,
think anyone says
this
that
is
anymore.
no knock on Tom. He's had an amazing career, and the system they had there, and the coaching, and all of it.
system.
But Joe Montana, pound for pound,
Pound for pound.
I'm sticking with him.
Pound for pound.
Somebody
Well,
else,
well,
4-0 in Super Bowls. I believe he's never
somebody
thrown
else
an
might say
interception in a
Otto
Super Bowl.
Graham. How do we know? Like,
Right. It's a
Right.
subjective
Well, somebody said Otto
stat.
Graham. I'm just gonna.
Well, pound for
Give
pound,
him
we were
some
just
chocolate
talking about
milk.
this with Trey. Do you think
Trey's an idiot.
do you think there's a he's right there.
I was waiting
Sports.
for him.
Do you think there's a case now for the quarterback in the Super Bowl, Patrick Mahomes, to say that he's one of the greatest to ever do it, pound for pound?
Already?
Yeah, why not?
He thinks he is the greatest already.
Oh, Patrick Mahomes is amazing. I think he's the best. Not
Right
that we
now.
have to vote on everything. I kind of get bored
Yeah.
by the who's the this and who's the that. Like,
Yeah.
Oh, we get
there's so
excited
many. I know they're good arguments, but there's so many different other circumstances.
Totally.
Sometimes you could have a guy who's amazing, but he's on a team with a horrible defense for 3 of his 5 years or whatever. And he's constantly
Tony
having to
Romo.
play
Matthew
from behind,
Stafford.
and so I think it's really hard to evaluate. Decade by decade, it's hard to evaluate. I think somebody just put out a list. It was LT, right? Putting out the list of
Yeah.
the 5 greatest defenders ever, or whatever.
Yep.
And I'm like, where's Kenny Easley? Like there's,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So all of that is so subjective.
Yeah,
So
totally.
Who's the best? I think Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, not Michael Jordan and not LeBron.
He's
Kareem
one of those guys.
Abdul-Jabbar.
That's what I was gonna say.
We can get into that.
Yeah,
if
I
we
mean,
want.
like,
Interesting.
that would be my opinion if we had
Yeah.
it. But typically, I don't talk about that much.
Yeah.
I go on dog walks.
I'm curious
Well,
if.
I'm trying to get better at golf. That's all I really care.
That's
He's a
big.
golf
I'm
guy.
a big golf
Jack's
guy.
a big golf
Trey's playing well. He just
Yeah.
looked like $1 million yesterday. Just
All right.
Gotta
Very,
get Jack
very.
out on the course.
Hey,
So the other day
I'll
I
take all your guys'
played.
money on the course,
I took
I'll tell you.
lessons for the first time. After all these years, I said I need somebody to tell me what I'm doing. So I went down to Florida actually. Yesterday,
Trey said you had
Trey
dinner
comes-
reservations.
and played out of my mind a few days ago. And then the next day went right back to my garbage that I've been doing for
That's
20
golf.
years.
That's
Yeah.
golf.
But
That's
it
why
just
golf's the
breaks your
greatest game
heart.
on. That's why golf's the greatest game on the planet,
I
man.
don't but here's the thing. I can still throw a football. And if you and I played catch right now from 10 or 15, just throwing back and forth,
Yeah.
I'm never going to spike it in front of myself. I'm never going to throw a ball
yeah.
that bad,
But
right?
in golf, you're
That's- yeah.
chunking it, you're thinning it.
Oh my goodness!
like, yeah.
I'm in the desert. There's a coyote chasing us. We almost perished out there.
I'm
Been a
really impressed that
legendary
you're
story.
here now. I appreciate
That
that.
What
guy
was
with
your
the
question?
story.
The guy with
Oh
the
yeah, I
fucked
was
up
gonna
left
say.
leg.
So I haven't heard anyone besides I'm from San Francisco, so like my uncles and my
Seattle
dads,
could have
they
beat
all-
San Francisco if we don't have the fumble driving. We're taking the lead. Thank you.
Hey, that's cool, but they didn't. Anyway. But I was curious because I haven't heard anyone besides like my uncles and my dad and stuff say that Joe Montana is the greatest quarterback
I've
ever.
heard a lot. I've heard a
I'm
lot.
curious, not recently, but I'm curious what your like top 3 or 5 all time is right now. Then, because you obviously
Quarterbacks?
grew up in a different era than
Quarterbacks.
Yeah.
I did or my dad
I mean,
did.
heck,
Or
some
yeah.
people would say Dan Fouts, Dan Marino. Like
out.
that's why it's just so. It's so possible, and the recency bias always gets you, right?
I love it.
Adam loves research.
I
His
love it.
favorite word.
Like
Recency bias.
Mahomes is
Yeah.
amazing.
I live in the
You know
recency
who's amazing?
bias.
Also, Joe Burrow. He's barely got in the game yet. There's all these guys. I'm leaving out. Lawrence. I'm leaving out Herbert. Like Aaron Rodgers, obviously.
Gardner Minshew.
Peyton Manning. We forgot about him. He retired.
Yep.
I think it's just a fool's errand to definitively say anything, because
Yeah,
we're
we don't know.
comparing dissimilar things oftentimes.
Well, you
Yeah.
mentioned
I mean, he
Joe
is-
Burrow. You
Speaking
I love Joe Burrow. He's
mentioned
smart.
Joe.
He knows what to do.
Yeah, I mean, but we were talking with Trey, and he's saying that QBs are not a win stat, and therefore Joe Burrow to be at that number 2.
Winning is not a QB
Winning
stat.
is not a QB stat, right?
Win stats are not a
It
key.
is and it
yeah,
isn't.
yeah, yeah.
I mean,
You play to win the game.
But my question for you was, where do you put Joe Burrow, I guess, in that top
he's
5?
the 17th best quarterback ever.
Well,
Specifically
He
17,
loves
not
rankings.
16.
He said he loves
Not in the
rankings.
game right now.
We
In the
left
game
out
right now.
Dave Craig. What about Warren Moon, Bart Starr,
Warren Moon would be a good
Yeah,
one. That's your
Bart
quarterback.
Starr. That's probably my
Randall
favorite
Cunningham,
quarterback.
who should be in the Hall of Fame.
I was trying to tell
If
you.
he had a decent offensive package in his first years at Philly, they might have won like 3 in a row. Their defense was ridiculous. They used to have a play just called RC Special, he told me. There was no play. It was like backyard.
I've heard of it.
Just
on
go
one.
out there and play.
Randall has the ball. Do
out and
something.
do
Go
something.
get him, kid.
RC, that's
Yeah,
I get
and
it.
then
Yeah, yeah.
you know, you look what he did at Minnesota, right? Like he had Chris Carter and
Yeah.
Randy Moss.
Yeah.
That doesn't hurt, but they should have won the Super Bowl that great '98 year. You guys
That was
were
crazy.
4 years old.
I was
but
born. I was
if
2.
Born,
I was
don't know.
negative
Yeah,
one.
Born
listen.
that year.
Don't make fun of the elderly. I was at
Well, he's 13.
I was at a pharmacy
Trey's
with my
like
daughter.
13.
We were getting makeup or toothpaste or whatever the hell we were doing, and the lady said, "Sir, are you 55?" I'm like, "I am." You get a 10% discount.
Hell
My
yeah.
daughter almost fell down laughing. She's like, she's now a
Dad, you're
senior
old.
in college. We got a college graduate, college senior, college sophomore, and a high school junior.
Wow.
I got remarried. We each had 2.
You're
so we got
so
4.
close. You're so close. A couple more years.
I don't know what I'm close to. More golf. I mean, we like having them.
couple
As
more
soon as my
lessons.
sister and I left the house, my dad's like, "Hell yeah, I can golf as
Yeah.
much as I want."
Going
now."
back to
Like,
it, though, we talked a little bit about Joe Burrow. We talked about Trevor Lawrence. You mentioned him. But 2 years ago, we had the Bengals in their run. This year, it looks like the Jags were going on their run a little
Yeah.
bit. Who next year would be the team that you're looking
Seattle,
forward to?
obviously.
no bias detected.
No
No.
bias.
With Gino at quarterback?
I want him to stay, and I will be disappointed if they try to make some move to displace him because
Yeah.
I agree with
What do you
you.
think of Gino?
He,
Gino balled out
he
last
just
season.
earned it.
Yeah.
How
Yeah.
could you do that? You know, there ought to be. It's really weird how the loyalty thing goes. Like fans get upset when a player takes a big deal elsewhere or mouths off
Right.
about
Business.
whatever.
Business is
but there's
business.
no loyalty
Yeah.
to the individual. Belichick would have cut Brady if he found a better guy, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Should've
I think it's
tried.
always a weird thing that a lot of fans kind of jump on management side in those arguments.
It's
Like
weird.
I'm usually on the player's side.
Well, you get
yeah.
attached. Fans get attached to the team, right? You're a Cowboys
True.
fan. You get attached to. I want.
Yeah, but
the best
but,
interest of the
right.
Cowboys.
I generally root for. I mean, obviously, I'm rooting for my Seattle teams, right?
Right,
All of
right.
them. And then if we don't succeed, then I know different people. I hope he does well. Like I don't
Absolutely.
have
Yeah.
this anger toward my rivals, like 49ers. You know,
All right,
like
so funny
that.
question then, because Russ obviously in the offseason going to Denver.
Yeah.
And when he went back to Seattle for his first game, I think it was Monday Night
It
Football.
was the first game of the year.
First game, I think it was Thursday night.
Yeah.
They booed him. And
That
we
was
thought
weird
that was
to me.
really weird.
I thought it was
Yeah.
fine.
It
Not
wasn't
on. I don't
Russ's.
think they should have booed him on the run out. That
Yeah.
actually should have applauded him. Then
Yeah.
once the
Yeah,
game
once the
starts,
game starts,
go
he-
crazy and try
Yeah,
to rattle
yeah,
him.
exactly.
Yeah, yeah.
He had a weird year. I wish him well.
Really
I
weird.
think he'll rebound and they'll have a much better year. It was just everything was out of sync down there.
Is Sean
I
Payton
don't
go-
think he lost the ability to throw good balls in 1 year. I don't think
No.
that happened.
Is Sean Payton going to fix his ability?
They're going to have some discussions about the way things run. Sean's
Yeah.
already mentioned that about
Yeah.
we're not bringing in
Having his
private
own
yoga
team,
people. Like
yep.
we're going to do it my
Yeah.
way. I'm the coach.
Well,
I mean,
hold
it's
on. Do
good.
you
It's
actually
good.
believe the Seahawks, or are you just saying that? Is that your bias? You actually think the Seahawks are going to be the team next year, like the Jags, like the Bengals, to make a run and actually potentially get to the Super Bowl?
I hope so.
Oh, so there's the bias.
All right,
He's
well,
optimistic.
But we
He's
all
an
have
optimistic man.
bias. Let's
Yeah,
be
yeah.
real.
That's why it's the Dolphins.
I think Brock
Caps off,
Purdy's
guys.
going to be the greatest quarterback of this
Well,
generation.
you
I mean,
gotta
after
say
the
this.
last-
No bias
when,
detected.
when people were talking going into the season, like, oh my God, the Seahawks are going to suck. They're going to win 3. I said, no, they'll do better than that. I don't know what. Whereas 8 games, 9 games.
I
thing.
thought they were going to stink.
So
I'm
did
No,
not gonna
I
lie.
thought they would be average to maybe good if they got lucky, and it turned out they were even better
They
than
were
that.
lucky.
I
And
thought it-
Gino got
yeah.
off.
Gino was the right pick.
You know
They were
what- you know what
decided
this
between
year-
him and Drew Lock. And
What this
Gino
year
was the
showed to
right
me about the
starter.
Seahawks was that Pete Carroll is one of the greatest coaches we've seen. He gets no credit for that.
100%. I don't know why
Like-
there's so much hate for him. That was the biggest thing I said. Not that I'm any great, prognosticator about it, but I was like, I believe in Pete. He's given us a decade of great football. Why am I doubting him now?
Right.
So
That's it was like the choice. I always thought if you trade for Drew Lock, you're like, all right, this young guy, gunslinger, you're going to start
love
him.
Drew Lock.
But yeah, I went to Mizzou with him. I know him. He's cool. But like, I just thought they were going to start him instead, and I was like, damn, why are you starting Gino? He hasn't done anything. But it turns out that
Gino
Pete
had a
Carroll knew what the
A
hell he's
lot to
talking
prove.
about.
He
No, he
needed
can
to
throw
prove
it.
himself still
So-
after 10 years.
you know who I really like is Penix, the Washington quarterback.
He's nice.
He's Heisman leader. Like it just comes out.
He's so good.
sweet. Like
He does have a nice
and he's
balls.
smart. He knows where he's going. That's the biggest thing. That's why Joe Munt going back to that. Not that other quarterbacks haven't been good at reading defense at all, but they knew. He had Bill Walsh. That was helpful. Here's what we're doing this week. If you listen, you have an offensive genius as a coach. They go over it and over it and over it, and it's like, oh, I see that. We're going over there. I see that. We're going.
Yeah.
So they had pre-snap reads that they used to use the umpire.
It's a
Is it the
reflex
umpire?
at that point.
Who's the guy that I think they moved him? The game official known as the umpire, right?
Right.
They would use him as a pick. They had plays,
Oh,
right? They did everything.
Strategy.
And it didn't
That's
hurt.
really
Damn,
smart.
Now here's the other thing: the knock. If you're going to say I'm wrong, well,
You're
yeah,
wrong.
Jerry Rice and John Taylor, and they had a bunch
A
of
lot of
horses
good
and a good
guys there.
defense. So again,
Yeah.
depending on where you are, but I think because of that time in my life, sometimes I was coming out of college watching this, like, whoa, this is football. What these 49ers do. And I got my ESPN job based on the 1989 Super Bowl where they came back against the Bengals. Remember that?
Wow.
No,
I
you don't.
don't.
Because
I
you weren't
wasn't
born.
alive.
I was
It's on the
-7,
internet.
but I've heard about it from my
yeah,
parents.
I do want
Do
to
you
talk
remember
about the
George
Super Bowl
Washington?
because we're going to have to wrap up here in a second.
No, we don't.
I want to
we do.
know.
You've missed dinner.
Trey's
now.
got
down.
dinner reservations.
I wanna
He's really
know,
on your ass.
What
Trey
are
was up here
your?
for 2 days, and he wants me to hurry now.
I want to know what are your picks for the Super Bowl? Do you have any prop bets?
Philadelphia,
You think Philly's going to win?
not strongly, but I just gave you a quick. I've been asked. I mean, I'm sticking with the same answer. I know a lot of people like to bounce around and give different answers. And they look, I think the game is an absolute toss-up. Nothing will surprise me. A blowout either way won't surprise me. And a tight game either way won't surprise me. Somebody might get hot and run off. You don't know.
Yeah.
But if you're
Yeah.
forcing me, I have to pick one.
Pick Philly.
Philly. But
Yeah.
not
More
with
complete
not
team.
with great conviction.
So we asked.
It's
we
hard to
asked
bet against
Trey
Sounds like
this as
Adam every
well.
week.
We built a quick pick parlay
A 40,
with Caesars.
40-leg parlay. What do we got?
It's actually just short, believe it or not. We were
Okay,
conservative
start
with this
Philly
one.
wins. What else we got?
It's
White
unfortunately
Sox.
not. We've been riding this narrative all year that Felipe started, where we've been saying that Patrick Mahomes is the GOAT. So we're
Okay.
calling this the Caps Off Pat Mahomes GOAT
Fair enough.
parlay quick
Whatever
pick
the hell.
by
Whatever you wanna call
Caesars.
it.
Yeah, everything works.
So-
It's a very efficient name, clearly.
I'm curious what you think. So we are taking Chiefs money line.
Fine.
So
Yep.
we already know you disagree with that one.
Plus
We're
whatever,
taking
yep.
Mahomes over passing yards.
How many? What's the number?
290.5.
Ooh.
It's a little high. We're
high,
also
but
he's
taking
the GOAT. He's
we're
the GOAT.
taking
I mean-
Mahomes everything over. So we're taking also his over in
290.
passing
That's like
touchdowns.
saying I'm going to drive. Like you got to clear the desert. You got to be 270 to make that.
He cleared. Didn't he clear 300?
No,
was at like
he,
350
he
in the
very,
AFC
I know.
If you-
he
if you
very
get a
well
hold
could, but
of
it's
one,
just a
though.
big number.
It's a big
It is a
number.
big number.
Yeah,
It is a
we
big number.
realize
Fine.
it's high.
Hey, we like swinging.
The other one
Fine.
is over 1.5 touchdown passes, and then
I like that.
over. You like that one?
Yeah, I like that
All right, we're
more
on the
than
board.
hitting 300
And then
yards.
the last one is over rushing yards, which is 19.5.
But he can run.
It's
can run.
kind of
He can
gross,
run.
but I like it.
And
So-
the Eagles pass rush, they're going to get after him. He's going to have to scramble
So
a
you're
little
like
bit.
one of the four.
What does that pay?
It's plus 700 of the odds.
Go for it. Let's go.
Let's
Hell
go.
yeah, let's go, Kenny.
That's my
That's
type
a
of guy.
worthy
Wow.
bet.
That's
I'm
a
not
betting
saying.
man.
You heard
Yeah.
it. Kenny said to take
No,
it.
I didn't say to do it.
Yeah, Kenny said it. Kenny said it.
What color's the Gatorade shower going to be?
That's the dumbest thing ever. What are we doing? And here's the other
How
thing.
long will the national anthem
Well,
be?
that's the thing. During rehearsal,
Trey
So-
goes not this long.
I don't like those bets that are subject to somebody knowing beforehand.
That's
Somebody
true.
could be at rehearsal,
Insiders.
put a watch on the anthem singer. Somebody in the training
Someone
room
does that every year, and they get it wrong every time. I don't know what it is.
Yeah, well, apparently the whole NFL is a script anyway. So
Well, it is. It
what are we doing here? You know?
Do
It's
you
been
get the
our
script
pleasure.
every
We
year?
have dinner. What?
Do you get the script every year?
Yeah, I'm not buying that either. Bill Walsh used to script his first 15 plays. I didn't agree with that. But
Trey's
All right,
golf
well,
swing's looking
Kenny,
nice out
thanks
there,
for coming on, man. We
appreciate
really
it.
appreciate it. Had a
the
great
greatest
time.
show
talking to
ever.
you.
Are we on right now?
We're on.
Yeah, we've been on the whole time.
I know, but what if we were on tape running it later, taking out when I swore that 3 times?
Oh, we can swear. I
no,
We
swear.
swear all the time.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Hell yeah. Let's
Yeah,
go.
we're
Hell yeah.
Fuck
We're
yeah.
staying all
You know what I'm
night.
saying?
All right. Well, thanks for tuning in to Caps Off.
Thank y'all, man. It's been a fun
Bet
show.
This has been Caps
responsibly.
Off. Yes, bet
Stay in
responsibly
school.
with Caesars.
That's
All you
right.
kids out there, TikTok kids, just keep doing what you're doing. You guys leading the nation.
Can you do a TikTok
Yeah.
dance for us real quick?
What's that?
TikTok dance right now? You got one?
Do you know what that means?
Like a little TikTok.
Kinda.
Like,
I don't know if I have that.
No worries. All right, appreciate it, Kenny.
Okay,
Thank you.
appreciate
Kenny.
it.
Thank you so much.
What happens now when I leave?
I don't know.
We're gonna just do our
The show goes
wrap up.
downhill is what happens
Yes,
for
it
starters.
does.
Yeah,
No, does
yeah.
somebody jump in here or
We're just
gonna
gonna probably wrap
slime
it up.
somebody? Or like,
Yeah, thanks.
What, hour and a half? Maybe 2?
thanks for
Thank you so much.
Hey,
I
thank you,
appreciate
man.
it. Thank you.
so much. All right, well, thanks for listening to Caps Off. Don't forget to check out our social at
Yep.
Caps Off Pod on Instagram, at Caps Off Podcast on TikTok. What else am I leaving
Join our
out?
Discord.
Predictions.
Join our
Link in bio.
Discord. Yeah, exactly.
Predictions
Don't-
coming up Friday.
predictions
Take
coming
our
up.
quick pick parlay.
That's
for
what I
sure.
was gonna
we
say.
got to take the parlay. The Patrick Mahomes Caps Off GOAT parlay
Plus
over
700.
Super Bowl
I mean, you heard what Trey
with
had to say about
Caesars.
Patrick.
Download the Caesars Sportsbook app. You can go to thegameday.com to get your best promos. But yeah, thanks for
We're
tuning
gonna
in.
stay in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, we'll be here all
One more
week.
episode coming this week.
Yeah.
Please listen up, man. It's gonna be
Maybe
fucking
maybe a
fun.
surprise one with some tidbits if we can edit that, but we'll
That's
see.
true.
yeah,
That's
yeah,
true.
I
But
can see.
take the damn parlay.
Agreed.
19 and a half, over 290, 1.5 touchdowns.
Chiefs
Money
money
line. Let's go.
Let's ride, baby.
How
Go.
about those Chiefs?
All right, we'll see you tomorrow.
Bye. Bye.
Bye.